Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Westman with Adapt Your Life, and I'm here with Dr. Ratte. Thanks for coming out today.
Thank you for having me.
You gave a great talk.
Thanks.
And do you have a practice where people can come see you?
I do. I practice in the back of the gluten-free store in Woodbury, Minnesota, Tailor-Made Nutrition. I'm part-time practice because I teach 3 days a week, so
Great.
good balance between the clinic and the, real life.
Are you seeing new patients as
Yeah,
well?
see new patients, yep.
Fantastic. Well, I was struck by a couple things in your talk. You were talking about gut health, and of course that's always a touchy conversation in public. But you carried out masterfully, talking about the poops and the colors.
Does it float? Does it sink? Yeah.
But it's something that particularly struck me, if you don't mind talking about, is how you and I was raised, and how our parents tried to do the right thing, and it reminded me of growing up with Hamburger Helper. Remember this, and the mounds of Halloween candy and the Hostess cupcakes and all this stuff. I mean, you had some funny stories too.
Yeah, I got a bunch. So my mom too. It was like, there's starving kids in China, clean your plate.
That's
right.
right.
So
and how did it help them?
Overconsumption at age 6. Then the broccoli. It doesn't matter if it's flavor right broccoli. You put cheese whiz on it, everything's better, right? You should drink the water that we cook the broccoli in. So, right. And then the I Hate to Cook book, right? I mean, it really does.
There
exist.
was a book
It
called
is, and it's part 1, part 2, right? 72 or 73.
What signal does that tell the child when your mom's reading from the I Hate to Cook cookbook?
Yeah, I don't know, right? But she cooked, she just didn't like it. That was the least priority. But so she had certain protocols, right? There was the sugar cereal was, Honey Nut Cheerios was as far as she went, right? Okay. But I remember Life cereal, I'd put sugar on the Life cereal, right?
Yeah,
I had the little sugar thing, right? I had that.
Yeah, well, so there is this thing about cooking with love, and you put love into it. That wasn't your response, or
you mean the hate?
Tell me about that.
Well, so we would have the meals, and my mom would cook things. Again, the Hamburger Helper. She had goulash, right? Goulash is like elbow macaroni with tomato soup, and it's not goulash, but I'm like traumatized by goulash. Well, the story is. That I had, Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day was on, and she said, if you don't eat your goulash, you can't watch Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day. I'm the oldest of 3, and I didn't eat it. Sitting in my red chair, and she let my brother and sister went and watched it, and it's on. I can hear it, and she turned the light off on me. I had a bowl of goulash, my red chair in the dark, and I wouldn't eat it, but I listened to it, right? But then, and again, it traumatized me when I was at the Eastern European restaurant, and my wife gets goulash. I'm like, oh, goulash, you can't do that. Oh, yeah. She's like, what's your problem? I'm like, I saw it. I'm like, that's stew. There's no elbow macaroni in it, right?
And I was trying to also lead. You mentioned that some parents put love in their food.
Yeah, the love and the hate, right? So I'm like my mom. I tell her, Mom, I can taste the hate in your food, right? And she's like, man, you didn't starve. I'm like, you're right. And she didn't there was no soda in our house, right? There was never soda allowed in our house. We never drank any soda. So I guess my dad would do it when my dad went shopping, but that didn't happen very often, right? But so she had her strict guidelines. So I appreciate some of them. It's just that I didn't have that love of food. So I ate a lot of frozen pizzas, steakums. You remember steakums?
Yeah, sure.
Right, that little thing after you could cook it in 5 minutes.
TV dinners in front of the TV.
TV dinners, the Salisbury steak. How I learned was I got the Bisquick. I got the Bisquick mix because there were 7 recipes on the back, and I'm like, ooh, I can make other things. So I made biscuits, and I'd put Wilderness Family Farms, right, the cherry filling or the apple filling, and I put it on the biscuit, right? So I got a little creative, so I kind of moved beyond frozen pizza and macaroni and cheese. My brother's still kind of stuck there, but I somehow turned out all right.
Well, that's making me think through, if anything, I don't know that I got hate in my food as a kid, but it was kind of neutral. It was just food was put on there. Some families it's totally opposite, and you can't refuse the love of the grandma, or people feel like I don't feel like I'm not receiving the love when I don't receive the food. Maybe that's because I grew up in a household where there wasn't a whole lot of love in the food. I mean, there was love outside.
Yeah, right. I mean, my mom loves me.
very
It's not even, there's no issue on that. It just food wasn't her meter.
But now,
right? So my grandma.
let's imagine an Italian, Greek household where, well, you don't love my cooking, or that may represent a stronger factor for those people, right?
Right, exactly.
So maybe we should be asking, how did you grow up, and what was your relationship in your family to food? Anyway, what a great talk.
And the kind of the je ne sais quoi, right? Because we're looking for that in our food, right? I mean, we're looking for that sweet, that sour. And I think that's really important that we kind of, cultivate that, right? How do you learn to like broccoli, right? I mean, so
put cheese on it,
right, you put cheese on it, but then it's kind of like, yeah, but wait, there's some complexity to it. And if I cook it with fat, it kind of brings that out, right? And so it's that mix. It's always looking for that je ne sais quoi, right? I mean, we all have that, and that's what I got from my grandma, right? Or that's where I got, on the other side, this is elbow macaroni, right? I don't like it, but just the sense of trying to develop that palate, I think that's a challenge for a lot of people.
A lot of great things in your talk. It ended on a most poignant note, the mug with the things that may be missing that you're looking for. Explain that.
So, I see patients, and there's two questions in my mind. I say, what's missing, and what's in the way. So the missing part, it's vitamin D, it's turmeric, it's milk thistle, right? That kind of thing. Yeah, okay. I mean, those are fine, but really more importantly, is there something else missing? Again, that's the love piece, or, those kinds of things, like, is somebody surrounding you? If I see a cancer patient, my first question is, so what's your support network, right? Who's there for you, right? I mean, because this is a journey, this is a battle that you're entering, and who's got your back, right? I mean, I think that's really important. And even with patients trying to change their diet, right? So the idea that dad's not on board, kids aren't on board, right? And I have a 23-year-old and a 21-year-old that was like, it's the hammer, so I'm the food fascist at home, right? But it's just like, these are the rules, and I'm very strict on them. But we go to somebody else's house, I can't manage that. I'm not going to tell somebody what to do, but I feel like in my domain that there's certainly a sense of that. But anyways, that's the love piece. Yeah. And my boys, they come over. What I know is I've cultivated something that they'll come over and eat my pork roast, right? They'll come over when I make that, and they'll eat a lot of it, and my wife's like, I can't believe what they eat, this kind of thing. But just the sense is, it doesn't matter, right? And then I tell them, this is how I show my love for you, and they're like, Dad, I'm like,
you don't have to say it yet.
Okay. Well, I do.
Again, thanks for coming to Adapt Minnesota. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. You do great work.
Thanks.